So I recorded a half an hour video, and then I realized that my microphone wasn't even connected. I mean, it was connected, but it wasn't recording anything. So that was just mute. So I guess I'll just start over. Also, I don't know how, like, it says on OBS my mic is peaking, so hopefully it's like not crazy loud. Maybe if I just like lower the decibels, be better. Let's put like here. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, that's probably good, right? Hopefully it's okay. Anyway, well, first of all, hello from Arch. I'm still on Arch, by the way, and you see here, I need to act. Oops, whoopsie daisy. Okay, calm down. And you can see here, I need to activate Linux. Hilarious. Yeah. Also, you will notice that I can switch between my things. But why is OBS, Kojo? Well, actually, I have a dual monitor right now. My friend came by, and he low-key dropped dual. He gave me his monitor over the summer. Long story short. So, well, it's not a long story. But yeah. So that's awesome. It means I can have OBS on another window now, which means it just makes it easier to switch and also make sure my camera's actually behaving itself. So, yep. And yeah, so it's been a while. I mean, it's literally been like, switch my desktop here. It's literally been 8 days, I think, since my last video. Sorry, 8 days. More than 8 days. Today's May 8th. And it's like, yeah, it's been a while. Why has it been so long? Because I've been setting up Linux, and honestly, I haven't really even thought to record a video. Initially, I stopped recording because I was like, okay, like, I'm just gonna like experiment with stuff. I mean, I should record that anyway, but I was doing it like on the fly, like outside of my room. So I didn't record it, and then I literally just forgot to record after that. So I'm now remembering to record, and I can show what I've done in the meantime. Oh, what I did in the meantime. Great. Behave yourself, microphone. Thank you. So, where to begin? I guess the first thing is my last video was literally on using the EU taskbar, instead of Waybar. So if I launch Waybar, you can see that this is Waybar here. There's this one on the left. You can see I can switch my desktops with it and whatnot. But the issue with Waybar is it's not very flexible. So if I go to its code base here, let's go on 5, I guess. I'll launch my terminal. I'm using the Kitty terminal with ZSH instead of bash. So I'm writing it via ZSH. And actually, okay, well, let's go to config. Is it here? I can't actually remember where my... Oh no, it's probably outside actually. Yeah, so I'm using Oh My ZSH, that's right. I'm using Oh My ZSH, it's a thing, Oh My ZSH. So if you want to have your thing look like this, then go ahead and check that out. But you can see it's just a cool skinny thing. Got the time here, got my working directory here, and if I go to into a Git project, you can also see that. So I'll go to Waybar, for instance. That's not a Git project, but I'll show it later then. Anyway, for those who don't know, Waybar uses JSON, which is quite easy and accessible for those who are not used to programming, but it's also very, well, it's not very flexible. And it also uses CSS, but CSS was built for the web, and therefore it is not quite as versatile for desktop applications. Not to mention that many of the CSS properties simply don't exist for this, so that's just a bit like, okay then. So Waybar is cool, but it's not very flexible, hence I no longer use it, and go ahead and kill it. So that's that. Then I want to check out EU. EU is not too dissimilar from Waybar, honestly. It's more flexible, but I honestly find the difference to be kind of small. Like, first of all, it also uses CSS. Mind you, it uses SCSS, but like either way, it's still CSS. And again, CSS is a web language, so it's going to be limited in terms of what it can do for this kind of thing. Like it's not really the best thing to use. And it uses a custom Lisp inspired language called Yuck. It's a custom language for this itself. And personally, I mean, maybe if you have used Lisp before, or like a Lisp language, that you'd like this. I personally hate how Lisp looks. Like, it's just really confusing with having like the brackets everywhere and the indentation. And like it's also just annoying to write. Honestly, I'm not a fan. I've used Haskell, Occam, or whatever. I still prefer just using C style languages. Yep, like syntax, like those like kind of class definitions and whatnot. So I had a look at yet another alternative, probably the best, like the most powerful option. Also the hardest option, but that's not an issue for me because I'm a GigaChad programmer. So for those of you who've looked on the Unix porn subreddit, you probably have seen this before. It's one of the most popular posts there, and it's someone's config on Hyperland on NixOS, which is another operating system I've wanted to look into, but I use Arch for now because I think Arch is just faster. I've heard, even though NixOS has superior sharing capabilities, you could say, because in NixOS your modules are declared. Well, yeah, they're declared, so they're written declaratively in a file, as opposed to with Arch where you have to like install apps via commands. In NixOS, you just have a list of them, and then they'll be checked automatically, which is cool, but apparently it's slower. So I might look into it sometime in the future. By the way, this uses Quickshell, which is available for both NixOS and Arch, among other things, I'm sure, but it is on Hyperland. And yeah, I use Quickshell now. So Quickshell is very cool because it uses Qt, right, and QML. For those who don't know, Qt is probably the industry standard for C++ GUI, graphical user interface software. So it's very powerful already because obviously it's been developed to hell and back. And if I go ahead and open Quickshell here, yeah. So now you can see I'm in the main branch. There's a Git, very cool. I like how it shows that in my terminal. And yep, I've organized my files into different things. Definitely inspired by the repo for this project here. You can see I have like this one's like components, modules, scripts, services, right? I also have kind of copy that thing. So I have components, config, modules, and services. Config is just like global variables and stuff. So if I open this up, I got global.qml. So here it's just like some like useful global variables that I can choose. Like if like the primary color right now is sakura pink. If I change it to like, I don't know, blue, terrible color, then you can see now my left has changed. So that's that, but pink is just better. By the way, just to show this off a bit, this is a power button. If I click it, I think it shuts down my thing, so I'm not going to do that. If I can click on the workspaces here to switch between them. Obviously, well, they're using Japanese kanji instead of normal numbers, just because I'm cool like that. But they can be changed, as I will show later. If they have a number, it means that the workspace is active. So as you can see here, as I switch my workspaces, or my desktops, whatever, you can see that there's a window there. Whereas if I choose one with a dot on it, they're empty. This is my wallpaper, so empty desktop. Yep. I can of course also use keybinds, as you would expect. And down here I have the time. So I am using a 30-hour clock. I thought it'd be not just funny, but also low-key kind of useful, because I usually stay up past midnight, and I hate seeing the clock go from 24 to midnight. You know, zero o'clock. Then it's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Seriously. I'd rather see 28 o'clock than 4 a.m. Because, like, as far as I'm concerned, the new day starts at 6 a.m. So if I can see, you know, so like if I can have it go to 30 o'clock and then go to 6 a.m., I think that's cooler. Anyway, this symbol here in the middle says, well, it's a Japanese kanji for time. I think it's read as toki in this context. Do not bully me for my pronunciation. And if I hover over it, you can see I have the time as well here, the date, sorry. So this is the 2026 May the 8th. If I had a horizontal taskbar, I would show the full date like in text, but I have vertical, so this is the space I have. I will make a thing so later, so if I click on this, it'll show like a calendar widget, but for now I have not done that. Also, kind of faintly, you can see in the background I have like a clock hands. So this is the hour hand pointing to 4, and this one is pointing to the minutes, which is 06, I guess. Not really that useful, just kind of there for fun, because I thought it'd be fun to do that. And then down here I have these things. So I've got like my Wi-Fi over here. Once again, I'll make it so that later, so that if I click on it, I can open a menu to connect to stuff, because right now I still have to connect to Wi-Fi networks manually via the terminal, which is not ideal. I have sound here that I can control. So first of all, just fix that real quick. You can see I have numbers, right? If I change my volume, it goes like that. But also I can drag this thing to change it, and I can also scroll with my mouse wheel, which is very cool. Very, very useful, honestly great. And it was interesting to see how to set this up properly. Oh, by the way, I have my Quickshell config on GitHub. It's over here. So if you want to check that out, I will link it in the description of this video. Jesus Christ. Okay, so then brightness as well. You can't see my brightness change because OBS doesn't record that, but it is changing, trust me on that. And then my battery is down here as well. My battery is actually only charges to 79%. I have that for like power, for like battery health, because if it doesn't fully charge, then the battery will last longer, and so on and so forth. But I have it set, so if I go here to my battery, you can see I have the threshold here, and then for the actual display, where is it? Yeah, here. For the no, that's color. For the actual display, you have this formula here, where it just kind of what's the word? Normalizes the battery to 100%. So like 79 becomes 100%. 0 is still 0, obviously, but like I don't know, like 60% becomes like 86%, because again, like the maximum is only ever 79. So that's also useful. Something that you can't really do on Windows, I don't think, if you were to cap it. So yeah, that's quite useful. Right now it has like a health symbol because it's fully charged. If I unplug it, you can see the symbol will change, and as it decreases, the battery will change color from green to red. So that's also quite cool. Yeah, so that's the taskbar, and because of how I have it set up, because of how I have it set up, it's quite easy to change things around. So like, let's say for my bar file here, QML. Let's say like here for my workspaces, I have these settings. So for like, I can change how many workspaces I have available. So if I change it to 5, then it will only ever show up to 5 workspaces here, which is useful if I ever want to disable some workspaces completely, but I'm not doing that, so that's fine. I can have it only show the active workspaces. So again, like right now I have these dots, right? But if I make this false, then it will just hide them and only show my workspaces that are currently in use. So if I want to, I can do that. And I have an override for my symbols, for the Japanese symbols. If I remove that, it will default just to normal Latin, English, Arabic, whatever numerals, which is cool. So I can customize that. And then, yep, I can just switch things around, right? If I want volume below brightness, I can do that. And yep, it's very flexible, which I love, and also very responsive. I love how it like in live edits. That's quite important. And if I go to my shell, the main file in my project, you can see I have this reload pop-up. So if I save the top right there, if I make an error, it's more easy to see, right? This big red thing top right, that's my reload config pop-up that I override for custom styling. Doesn't look particularly crazy right now. I just did it so that I could move it from the top left to the top right, because for some reason by default it goes to the top left, which, as you can imagine, that covers like your code, so it's really annoying. This is my work bar, task bar thingy. I can change the orientation. I have it set up so if I want to, I can do right as well. So now it's just switched to the right side, right, obviously. But left is the default. I do not have support for top and bottom because it would just change too much. Maybe one day I will set that up, I don't know. Ignore that my brightness, by the way, keeps going to infinity. That's a bug that I'm not entirely sure how to fix. But it doesn't matter because it only happens sometimes when I reload. And I obviously if I'm using my computer normally, I will not be reloading my bar code, so that's fine. And then I have the Activate Linux widget here, very easy to set up, but I also have a config, so I can change it to Japanese. For instance, I haven't added any other language support yet, but I could in theory if I wanted to. But I keep it on English because that's what most people can read. Otherwise, they're like, why is there random Japanese on your screen? Whereas this is more obvious. Text size, why not, if you want to do that. And you can also just disable it, I guess, visible, false, right? Just hides it. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so that's Quickshell, very cool. I will keep on customizing it. It is quite a bit of effort, right? Like, it's not easy to set this up, especially because I'm new to QML, although I feel like I'm learning it quite quickly. But if I look at something like I don't know, like the brightness, like you can see here, I'm like watching these these files on my system to like check like what's my max brightness, what's my current brightness, you know, like reload it when it changes, have this command to run whenever I want to change it on the slider here, and so on and so forth. It's been difficult, but also fun, and I've learned a lot. And it's great because I'm using QML here, it actually prepares me for Qt. Because I've been wanting to make GUI for a long time in software, but I've always been kind of scared, right? I've never wanted to use like C# or like Java or anything like that because I don't like garbage collected languages, and it also make it difficult to, well, particularly because I specifically want to make modding tools. It'd be troublesome for me to link my C++ libraries to a C# or Java project. I'd have to like C interface it, which is just really annoying. So it'd be a lot more convenient, right, if I could just have everything written in the same language. And that is what Qt would allow me to do. I could have my Qt GUI be in C++, and yet have the backend also be in C++ for the modding stuff. So that is exactly what I've done. So if I go out of here, go to projects. Oops, oh my god. Go to projects. Camera, please. Microphone. Stay put, please. Which one is it? Have a look here. Right, Qt test. I recompiled it recently, so it should work. ./what build / my app is the executable. You can see here I have this set up. Very simple, but because I haven't really experimented. I haven't had much time to really experiment with it much. But you know, I've got text here. I can open a file. Usually it'd be an XF bin, but I don't have any on my system right now. So I tested it with C++ as a filter. I can change this. If I open it, you'll have the path here. I can change this here. Documents / XF bin. I guess foo.xf bin. Right. Yeah. So very simple, but just me getting started with that. And you can see, well, first of all, the C++ code. Very simple, right? Not much really going on yet because I'm not doing anything, but just loading the QML. But the QML itself is already quite a lot going on, which is cool. I do like QML. It's very convenient, and I like it. I think a markup language is right for GUI. Hence HTML exists, right? So yeah, very cool there. Some other things to mention. If I go out of here and go into Hello Linux, you can see I have these different Hello World projects. In particular, I want to show off the C++ one. because it uses wrong file because it uses the latest C++26 print line feature from the print header, right? So here I'm including print, and then I'm using standard print line. This is not currently available on Windows, as far as I know, for GCC, by the way. Because GCC is part of the GNU project, and so is Linux, then naturally GCC support for Linux will come first before Windows. So that's very cool. It means I can use print line finally in my projects. So yeah, very cool. If I run it here, what is it? /hello. Hello from Arch Hyperland via C++26. Isn't that awesome? So that's been fun. I guess a little highlight there. Yeah. Yeah. Like I guess some other things are like, it's actually been really fast. Like Windows, like I knew Windows was like bloated and slow and like whatnot, but like I didn't realize just how much faster Linux would be. Like using Discord, for instance, on Linux is so fast, it's ridiculous. Like the lag is non-existent, and it makes you wonder what makes Discord on Windows so laggy. Like it's just been strange. And that's like Electron too, you know. So Electron's fairly heavy. Well, I think it is anyway. Yeah, it is. Like it's just Chromium, and it's the same code base on all platforms, and yet on Linux just runs better. And like, keep in mind, this ThinkPad has worse specs than my Asus VivoBook. Like the specs are worse. Like this has an integrated GPU. That one has like a proper NVIDIA GPU, and yet for some reason, this one just runs better. I thought like streaming OBS would be a problem on this laptop, but it's completely fine. So that's been a highlight. Very happy with that, obviously. I guess also like with the ThinkPad itself, it's very useful how I'm able to fold it back, the screen folded back, and I've used that a bit to like watch stuff, and like I will use it for note taking once I get the orientation flip. Unfortunately, by default, I can't seem to flip the display automatically by like rotating the screen, whereas with Windows it did it automatically. But once I figure that out, I'll be able to like have like PDFs and stuff, and like use my pen to jot stuff down. The touch screen does already work, so that's very cool, and I think it works with the pen. Although maybe it doesn't actually. No, I think if I remember correctly, it doesn't work with the pen. So I also need to figure out how to configure that. Let me try now, real quick, since the pen is like right here. Yep. So there's the pen, and if I like, let's say like I want to tap. Oh no, yeah, no, it does work. Ooh. Okay, let me just not. Okay, okay, it works with like a big asterisk. Yeah, like for some reason my mouse is like heavily offset. I'm not entirely sure why. Like right now so for reference, right now my pen is underneath the Quickshell dotfiles like title, like over here. But for some reason the mouse is there in the middle. So okay. But anyway, that's that. So yeah, so I will need to configure that at some point. Configuring it manually is a bit of a pain, but I've also learned a lot doing it. So oops. I definitely cannot complain too much. Jesus Christ. Okay, I really need a bigger desk, by the way. It's actually horrendous. Yeah, so I think that concludes everything I really wanted to share. I mean, again, the only reason I didn't really make videos is because I low-key forgot to. So I might make more videos what the hell? I might make more videos soon. And like whenever, basically. If I just feel like it and remember to. If I don't, then I'll come back with more progress. Unfortunately, right now, I do need to like focus on revising for my exams. and I also have some like Java projects to finish. But the issue is I can't record myself doing the Java projects and publish them because it violates university whatever. So that sucks. But for like other stuff like Qt and whatnot, I will probably be recording videos on that if I'm just not feeling lazy. So yeah, subscribe for those, and I'll see you in the next video.